In the previous study, we discovered that the word beast in Revelation 11:7, 13:1, and 13:11 represents the carnal nature, while the 7 heads of the beast and dragon in Revelation chapters 12 and 13 refer to the carnal mind resulting from this carnal nature. It's important to recognize, too, that the dragon and beast are collective forces consisting of many. At the end of the previous study, we began to get an idea of how Babylon is linked with the beast. Put it simply, the law of God is given to regulate the carnal behavior, which is the pride or excessive love of the self. This shows why the Spirit of God is the only component that can give us what we need to overcome, for carnality is rooted in a love for the flesh or human form and its attachments. Our love for light and life must defeat our love for darkness and death. This is one reason why Jesus taught that we must love God with all of our heart, mind, soul, and strength, and our neighbor as ourselves. Now, let's return to Revelation 14. Then a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast in his image, and receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out full strength into the cup of his indignation." The phrase beast in his image brings us back to Revelation 13. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast, who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast be killed. What does this beast coming up out of the earth represent? Well, unlike other symbols in Revelation, this one is actually named later in Revelation. Consider the following. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs coming out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. Note my insertions in where false prophet refers to the beast of the earth. And should there be any doubt, we need only consider the following. Then the beast was captured, and with him the false prophet, who worked signs in his presence, by which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. These 2 were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone. When we compare the context of Revelation 19:20 with the context of Revelation 13:11 through 18, we have a match. The beast of the earth symbolizes the false prophet, and like the dragon and beast before it, this too is a collective entity. This should come as no surprise when we consider that Jesus told his disciples, "Take heed that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name and deceive many." In agreement, the 2 horns like a lamb suggest a religious or Christ-like appearance, but spoke like a dragon suggests the same spirit and mindset the scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees possessed. So, who is this false prophet? As stated, it speaks collectively, but a collective is made up of many individuals, so we could bring it down to the individual level. So, who is this false prophet? The following tells us. The heart is more deceitful than all else, and is desperately sick. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, search the heart, I test the mind, even to give to each man according to his ways, according to the results of his deeds. Here we are, my friend. The most deceitful force in the world is the heart of man. This being the case, it doesn't mean that others can't deceive us, but it does mean that deception begins with our own heart and mind. Pride draweth pride, and a good many religions today are sustained by this alone. So, according to Revelation 13, verses 14 and 15, the false prophet deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. The false prophet then gives breath to this image so that it both speaks and kills those who do not worship this image. Understanding is gleaned first from the phrase, those who dwell on the earth, which is not speaking of our geographical position on this planet. Consider the following. Thus it is written, the first man Adam became a living being, the last Adam became a life-giving spirit. But it is not the spiritual that is first, but the natural, and then the spiritual. First man was from the earth, a man of dust. Second man is from heaven. As was the man of dust, so also are those who are of the dust. And as is the man of heaven, so also are those who are of heaven. Just as we have borne the image of the man of dust, we shall also bear the image of the man of heaven. The first man, Adam, defining the natural and carnal, not the spiritual. The first man was from the earth, a man of dust. Those who dwell on earth are all who sleep in the dust of the earth, that is, settled in the carnal nature and mind. The serpent's meat is dust. All of us bear the image of the man of dust, said Paul. Might this be the image to the beast? The beast is the carnal nature, and to be carnally minded is death. So is the carnal mind the image or reflection of the beast or carnal nature? Might this be why Paul said that we change the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creature rather than the Creator? Consider 2 Timothy 3:1 through 5. Paul speaks of perilous times. How does he start the list? For men will be lovers of themselves. Is this not the essence of carnality? We're told that the false prophet makes an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. What beast does John refer to? He's referring to the beast of the sea, but the wound goes back to the great dragon in Revelation 12, who is cast to the earth, typifying the Lord's victory through his faithfulness and obedience to the Father. The image speaks and the image kills. Of course it does. For the carnal mind and its death is expressed through the power of the tongue. Because the carnal mind is enmity or hostility against God, it expresses this enmity against others. For this reason, John states, if anyone says, I love God, and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. According to Revelation 13:12, the false prophet causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast. Worship, denoting affection and commitment. Again, worshiping and serving the creature rather than the Creator. In other words, embracing the carnal nature and mind and the religion that endorses it. Pride draws pride. The mind of the flesh draws the flesh. Now, here's something to think about. I have proposed that the great dragon of Revelation 12 typifies the religious system of the Jews in Jesus' day, based on John 8:31 through 47, and the fact that it was the religious leaders who opposed the Lord and his disciples from the very beginning. This opposition is pictured by the war in heaven between the male child and the dragon. This dragon has 7 heads and 10 horns. After he is cast down and we step into Revelation 13, we see a beast rising out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads. Same horns and heads, but they're flipped. Why is this? Because the 7 heads and their crowns on the dragon denote the fullness of the time in Jesus' day, while the 10 horns on the beast represent the time of judgment following shortly after the establishment of the New Testament church among all nations. Once both covenants were joined and the Aeonian gospel exemplified, judgment followed based on the cry of the souls in the fifth seal. More to come, my friends, so be sure to join me for the next study. May God bless you in your walk with Christ.